What came to your mind, sir? The environment, the trees, the soil, the air, the mosquitoes, as you said.
I have no problem with mosquitoes, actually. And in fact, this is not something new for me. I've been living like this. My place, Shilpapadyam, my studio is like this. In Malabar, in Talasheri, in Part-1. Last 10 years, I'm almost trying to settle and make a studio for myself, plus the next generation. I'm just trying out and practicing how the next generation is going to be in my studio. I'm trying to make the place convenient for them to operate. This sculpture has been, very fascination from the very beginning for me. And it's like to learn swimming, you have to jump into water. So just to understand sculpture in the early stage in my fine arts, I realized I should specialize in the field. This place is like, even the last Biennale, I was quite interested in this space. And somehow or the other, they called me again, and, the new Biennale committee decided to bring me back again. And I accepted accepted the invitation. And my aim was to come here, and the curator also thought that I should come here and work. It was not only my decision. And there are lots of land just locked up with fence and all that. Nobody could use it. I just want to try out what one can do if somebody is going to live in a space like this. Naturally, it will be completely, without disturbing the space, how we make it convenient for us to explore, So we made some pathway to begin with, and, liking all the creepers, and, Those days, when I began, it was raining most of the time. Now it has reduced.
You're talking about decorating your art in Cabral Yard.
See, one stage, I've been doing a proper study, like specialized graduation in Madras, 5 years, and went to Baroda, and also after that, I've been continuing doing my work. But one stage, after doing bronze casting and all that, I realized that every material do have, great values, not only in bronze. And today, actually, there are quite a lot of material we just throw, waste. So I think the art of recycling is also important, because I've been working, because the material you buy from the shop is also, for me, it's like collecting waste only. In fact, waste material do have more human touch. So I find it more appropriate for using it for sculpture. And also tree branches and all that, it's like three-dimensional drawings, according to the light, wind, climate, where the tree branches grow. So once it falls, I try to collect them and, arrange things and make it very interesting into a sculptural way.
You just mentioned about waste, that is scrap, about how it's more human. Could you shed more light on the humaneness of scrap, or that which we dispose of?
The thing is that most of the material which we use, if anything happens to it, most of the people don't know what to do with it. They immediately consider that it's a waste. Actually, probably if you can make use of it, you might do a better job, better life to it. That's what I find. And also it is not nice to throw everything into the nature. If you the concrete and plastic and all that, if you throw outside, even a plant will not grow there.
Yes.
You see? So I'm very, very concerned about such things, because nature is like living for, not only for us, for long generation. In the sense that our ancestors and all that done so much for our convenience. We don't have to do anything. Even 1,000 years of coming 1,000 years, we can live peacefully with their thought process and ideas. Where the recent days, our generation is neglecting it. We just look at some pages in the last generation. That is enough for us to, for the good life and health and, everything. Even great art has been done traditionally in every way possible. So I don't understand what it means by new media and all that. I find the old media, old material, and if you do a good job with it, it's definitely going to be a new material and new. Because we get confused by modern art and we get confused by new media, and this is something you have to be living in present. I think the life comes in presence, and in the presence your body, mind, feeling all to be together. And I like to practice whatever I do. I practice keep my mind, feeling, body all in one. So every second I am trying to live like that. So when doing sculpture is also the same effort only. It's not anything special. Even cooking or anything, any work. So this is what I think everybody should understand, and we have to give some clue to the next generation. They will get terribly confused if we are just looking for something which you can't really find any meaning. Because if you understand any tool made, any architecture made olden days, which will last more than today's architecture, the material wise, like concrete buildings and other material. Cement is a binding material, but people use it as solid space fillers today. And concrete is almost like plastic. It only looks like stone, but it is not stone. It's not a natural material. So human beings are really damaging the earth. When you think about any other insects, they are all very concerned about life on earth. While living, they only help the earth. I think human beings are trying to cover everything with the plastic and concrete and all that. Sometimes I feel that it is shameful to be a human being.
Powerful thing to say. You made a distinction between new media and what springs from the earth, the materials that you work with.
We think that our life is just one life. It is not that. In the given one lifetime, you can have millions of lives. For example, if you want to really see a painting, 1 second when you look at it, you become that painting for a few seconds. You forget about everything else. Similarly, when you look at the sky, you are a sky for a second. When you look at water, you are water for a second. When you melt metal, you are melting for a second. So this way you can have many full-time experience with every second in your life.
Do you think new media is sort of...
New media is a very commercial commercial word. New media, I don't understand what is new, what they are talking about. Because all this new media, they are talking about plastic or film you can't touch. Here you can touch mud, everything.
Feel it.
You can feel, touch. I mean, touching is another way of seeing. Film, you just edit and you just throw something and add something or you extend it. And what is realism, what is realistic? All big confusion. I think the abstraction is more realism than realism because there is no realism. There is no realistic thing anywhere.
So is art taking that direction today, what you talk about, realism, which is not realism?
Change is the most permanent thing. Because change will happen. It's character of nature in a way. Nothing is constantly fixed. Even earth, we think that it's not moving, So earth is like a dust and there are full of dust in the space. So we are all just living on the earth and we just try to destroy it as much as possible. That is very sad.
This is part of the installation.
These are all done jointly. One of the students, he got inspired by material and there are full of this dry driftwoods and So just I don't believe in making all by myself also because any good idea, if anybody brings that is accepted and welcomed into the space. It's not only me doing the work. Even sure, nature is doing, insects is doing, birds are coming, human beings are coming. But human beings do have the, I don't know why they have the tendency to destroy interesting things. Or either destroy or ignore the interesting things.
So what we understand is therefore that art does not stand in isolation. It does not stand in splendid isolation. It is organic, it's connected.
See, art is something everybody, as some masters said, everybody is an artist. Every insect and everything is doing art. Only thing we have to see it. That is what it is important to see. Like light is faster than sound. Mind is much faster than light also. This mind is what doing things, even a painting or an art pieces or anything. And it is documenting certain values which you understood, which either naturally or intentionally it comes. Artists are struggling to make that happen. Even the Shilpa Shastra and all that, they say, first you become the sculpture. A sculptor will become a sculpture and he take the sculpture out of it to make it see. So in that situation, people who are not practicing might get confused. Art is an understanding, I believe. And art, the philosophy of art, which is helping us, healing us, making us happy, making us communicate. And artists, like everybody is an artist. Some will be good at writing. There is also art. Some will be good in philosophy. But how do you express? How do you make others see it? For visual art like ours, we just leave it and go. Anybody can come anytime and see it. And that also changes with the light, time, climate and all that. It doesn't mean that you have to be like photographs. And I don't believe in this photograph which has only one eye. But we have more than 3 eyes. And we are seeing things with more than 3 eyes. But we neglect that and call it photograph is a new media. And you see only that much. That means you are again chopping your wings.
Of your vision.
Yeah, even children or grown-up people, we are all children only. I don't know why we are all living at the same time. We are all contemporaries. We all have different way of observing things. We have different age, different experience, and experience also changes with the situation, and
So could we take a walk to your...
to make a hardship to understand. See, nothing is easy, and there is a big journey. Even for you to come and here, see it, it's a big journey. Your life, not only your life, your great grandparents all traveled and reaching here to see something.
Yeah,
So it's not just one day, 1 second. It's a big journey to see something.
So art is also like an aggregation handed down as a legacy, perhaps.
Art is actually, it's like, we name it differently. It's, even craft. Good art and bad craft. Or good craft and bad art is equally bad. So all should be synchronized so beautifully, Then there is an aura that which makes you intuitively connected to something or the other. And I hope I am answering the right way. Imagine we all the plants and roots and the urge to live is not only for human beings. The plants are waiting. Some seeds will wait for the right climate to
Sprout.
sprout. So all these things are very interesting. And if you see life, you are getting the life. You are recycling and recovering a lot of energy, and that is what art is, something which you give more life and energy. It's a great healer.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah. And how far, if you don't practice, you are losing. And our place, we do need more sustainability. In fact, these creepers, this is very medicinal creepers, which can cure diabetes, even cancer.
All these creepers.
These creepers, the thing hanging. I made a ball out of it and kept
on top of that
kept
pillar.
on the pillar.
Right. Okay. How did you discover that this had...
No, in our country there are full of plants, all the medicinal plants. Today nobody knows how to identify them. If there is an illness, there is a plant to cure it. But we take shortcut. We think that, trust your hospital or, that is enough. But, you have to heal before any illness comes. It will be the best thing. Because your life is so precious. You can't just, take a leave from your life. Every second is what we are. We are reborn and thinking. I don't believe in just sitting and thinking. I feel very comfortable when I work and think. It's like old yogis and all that, meditation and all this. I think they are missing something else. We have all this energy tools in your own body. Why do you just
dissipate?
Why do you just unnecessarily make it passive? So when you work and think, I think you are much more clear.
Alive also. Do you mind art has a much higher function than mere showcasing of craft and talent?
See, the craft and skill are vanishing today because of the machine. It's a very commercial world. And commercial world is really destroying our skill and craft. Anything, if you can do it on your own with your hands, that much of strength you are gaining. Today, money value is over. If the money is a tool, and the tool should come on time, then it is a tool, it's been used. Otherwise, money is just a paper, printed paper. So we have a lot of values What about those values? All the skill, craft and ability to, do things. All that is lost today. Losing it. And all the institutions are commercial world.
To that extent, do you think art is also equally political?
See, politics in one way, art is not, art is everything. You can see things the way you want to see. What you see in anything is there in you. That's why you see it. If you have great other values, you see that in art. If you are a politician, you see politics in art. If you think that art is going to heal you, then it heals you. So art is a kind of God. I don't know what you call it. We also had ancient folk art and all the art put together, like Theyyam, for example. Every art today we are practicing, they were practicing thousands of years ago.
It's nothing new.
It has been, art is not new, new is not art either. So, it's up to you how you choose your life.
I've been talking to people who have come to visit the Biennale. There were installations, there were other works of art. So when I speak to them and ask them, what do you make of it? How do you see it? How do you interpret it? A lot of them would say, we don't understand.
Okay, that itself is an understanding. At least they know that they don't understand. What is the use of pretending that I'm reacting to it? Now, art lovers are actually artists, not necessarily art makers. And we practice to see others' art properly. We don't know much the value of our work. If we stop practicing, we are blinding ourselves. So practicing art is such a great thing that once you get the grip how to see, then you gained it and you keep continuing with it. You should never take a break from it. Either you see others' art, or you see your own art, or you see how things move.
So in that sense, the artist and society, artist and the individual needs to be in constant communication. Is that what would you say?
It would help. You can be self-taught, you can be academic taught, you can be both. Academic taught as well as self-taught. And self-knowledge is something great. We actually learn before we are born also. It's very clear today because in India people have been practicing religion and so on and so on. It's another institution. It's all, you can't just cancel it, And probably we can't even stop thinking about the new institutions. For me, this is a university. People are coming, people are getting admission, and they are themselves going out, they are themselves understanding. They try to meet, they try to discuss with others that how they understand. It's an institution. It's a free institution. In the sense that you can be much more freer than in the normal school bench.
I find this fascinating when you say art is universal, and this itself is university. So how do you think we could probably make art an intrinsic part of our children's lives, our school life, our college life, our university life? How do we...
I think the art education should be compulsory, at least for the beginners, school kids. Then you don't need to train them much later. In a younger age, if our institutions give more importance to craft and art and all that, that is enough. We give a big contribution to the next generation if we do that. Like, for example, lot of compound and all that locked up, the owner's signature will be there in one paper and the whole compound will be locked up with fence and all that. Either he or anybody is not using it. So this is a test that, a place like this locked up for a year or two, or, or for a long time. Only last Biennale in Kochi, they used this space. Now the next Biennale will turn this into something else also, perhaps. Or God knows whether Biennale is going to get the space. But even Biennale will happen, that's what I believe. And Biennale is something which is like an art war. Time has come to destroy all the gun and all other armaments. It is very old-fashioned war. What we need is positive thinking. Delete all the maps from the world. How convenient it will be.
As you said.
I don't know why these are all unnecessarily, and art is like very valuable. We know the value. But nobody respects because they are not in the field. They didn't choose the field. So they underestimate the art. Art energy, once you start understanding, it's amazing. I mean, you have all the right to do even bad art. But understanding its value, it's very important.